House Republicans on the Oversight and Homeland Security Committee is investigating possible retaliation charges against a Border Patrol official. A whistleblower says this happened after he testified in front of two committees. The committee chair is writing a letter to Customs and Border Protection. They say, hey, the whistleblower indicated this pattern is consistent with common CBP practice to get rid of employees perceived as problematic, forcing them to relocate, retire, or resign. Let's bring in Texas Congressman August Pfluger. He's a member of the Homeland Security and Energy and Commerce Committees. Congressman, welcome to New York City, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here on set. Let's first talk about this potential retaliation against these officials. These Border Patrol agents, you're Texan, they're suffering at the border. And then someone's brave enough to come forward to say, hey, things are bad down there, and boom, he's reassigned. I mean, what's happening down there, sir?
Well, we know it's a crisis. We know the Biden administration has completely ignored this situation. There's thousands of migrants who come across, the chaos, the fentanyl, the human trafficking. But what's worse is to think that the commander-in-chief would actually retaliate, that his administration would retaliate against somebody who's trying to do the right thing and implement these policies to keep our country safe. That really is, to me, a disgusting thought. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and it's something the American public is demanding right now.
Governor Abbott is being criticized for those floating barriers. What do you say?
Well, Governor Abbott has to do something because the federal government is doing nothing. And so when you look at the Constitution to protect and defend this country, our borders, that is a federal issue. They've abdicated that responsibility. Mayorkas has repeatedly testified before Congress saying that the border is secure. We know it's not. And so the governor of Texas and other governors, by the way, are having to take measures in order to actually stand in the gap and protect our country.
Why will the Biden administration admit what's happening at the border? Don't we have a vice president that's the borders are? Or am I wrong?
Well, where is she? And when's the last time she actually went to a border town to see the tragedies? You know, they talk about this term about having empathy and being welcoming. And you know, what they're doing is actually putting young girls, young boys in human traffickers' hands.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Well, there are also hundreds of people who have died trying to get into the country illegally, drowning in the Rio Grande and stuff. I mean, we have read not this editorial, I have read recently that whereas the Texas border people are repelling people trying to get into the country, the Border Patrol, the federal people, are allowing them to come in and even encouraging them to come in. Have you got any sense of that? And how can we change that? That just seems absurd to me.
You know, it's part of the administration's efforts to just basically process people.
But they're not. They're coming in, and two-thirds of them are just being allowed to walk.
And that's their mentality now, is they sign up for these apps and they do what the administration has now gone to, which is a loophole and makes it easier for people to come through.
Yeah. A lot is happening in Washington. A lot is going to be in front of your committees. The New York Post, Miranda Devine, is reporting that Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devin Archer, is expected to testify on Capitol Hill. He says Hunter Biden put then Vice President Joe Biden on the phone with his business associates at least 24 times. Archer reportedly speaking to the House Oversight Committee this week, though he's canceled, I believe, 3 times. So we're curious here. Do you think Devin Archer is going to show up and testify this week?
You know, it's a good question. I'm so proud of the other folks who have actually come, because if he does and he tells the story about what is actually happening, the American public deserves to hear the story. They deserve to hear what has happened, what the Biden family has done, the millions of dollars that have been paid to the Biden family, and I hope that he can do that.
Okay, and also Maria talked with the issue of Merrick Garland came up, possible impeachment for Attorney General Merrick Garland. I want you to listen to what Maria had to say about this.
Are you moving to impeach Attorney General Merrick Garland?
This is a question for the full conference. Speaker McCarthy said, if we have to go to an impeachment inquiry, we will in fact do that. It sure looks now, based on all this evidence that keeps piling up, based on what Senator Grassley released this week with the 1023 form, what we heard from the whistleblowers this past week, and the conflicting statements from the Justice Department, it sure looks like we're moving in that direction at a pretty quick pace.
Okay, so what do you make of that? I mean, Jamie Raskin says, oh, this is already, this has already been done under the Trump DOJ. It's all over. You say what?
Well, it's the administration saying nothing to see here. You have an attorney general who fails to prosecute even the most basic things. And you remember when in 2019 and 2020, the Democrat Party, the liberal media, everyone said, oh, it's just there's misinformation, there's disinformation, there's nothing to do with the Biden family or Hunter Biden, the laptop, and all these things have actually come true.
Right,
now.
okay.
And so if Merrick Garland has not prosecuted this, if he had the knowledge, which we know now that there are DOJ, FBI, and IRS whistleblowers who have come to Capitol Hill and told us the truth. These are just normal people, actually in some cases Democrats, normal people telling the truth. Then Merrick Garland does deserve to be impeached because our country has to have faith in our institutions, and right now the American public does not.
Congressman, you're here in New York City. Great to see you. It's going to be a little warm for you this week, but you're used to that in Texas. Let's talk about this. So you've led this trip here to New York. You're going to be hearing from the NYPD about counterterrorism here in New York. Talk about why you're here this week.
Well, I actually have led a trip with Representative Anthony D'Esposito and Mike Lawler, two great members from New York. We've talked to the NYPD. We're studying counterterrorism. I chair a subcommittee on counterterrorism and intelligence and law enforcement. It's important that people understand that 9/11 happened. The Committee on Homeland Security was developed as a result of that tragedy. We can't go back there again. We have to focus. I'm proud of what the NYPD is doing, the good men and women who serve this community. But we need to make sure our eye is on the ball because radicalism, extremism, especially coming from the Middle East and other terror groups throughout the world, they do want to undermine our national security.
While we have an open border.
That's exactly right. And so
that's
all
the big.
these things
That's the
together.
worry. There's terror watch lists. People on the terror watch list that have come through the southern border.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And 128 people have come through our border just this year that have matched that terror watch list. And when you put that in perspective with when Trump was president, less than 20 people in the 4-year term when President Trump was president came and matched that list. So,
And by the way, those are the people we know about.
Those are the ones that we know
There you
about.
go.
That's exactly right.
Congressman August Pfluger, it's great to have you here on set.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in. All right.